Hello everyone! This is ALBERTA, the BitcoinMeister, the DisruptMeister. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin show. I don't even remember what today is. Look that up on your computer right now. I am in Bergen, Norway, okay? And it is Saturday. And it is like close to 9:30 at night. Of course, it doesn't look like night to you, does it? It's like bright. It's gonna be light for quite some time. And you guys wanted to see what it looked like here, so I decided to do a little bit of an outdoor show. This might be one of two Beyond Bitcoin shows today, or we might get one a little bit later in 12 hours. But I definitely want to do one live so you guys can do your chat and everything, super chat. Remember to check out the notes section below this anyway. I will have pertinent notes. And of course, check out the archives. Check out yesterday's This Week in Bitcoin show. And of course, check out the link Tuesday. This Tuesday at 7 p.m. here in Bergen, Norway. There is going to be, of course, a gathering, the Bitcoin meetup, where I will be talking at, actually. So, to start off here, it's, what do we got here? Here in lovely Bergen. I was distracted there for a second. This is the perfect time of year to be in Bergen. That's what I wanted to say. This is the perfect time of year to be in Bergen, Norway. And I think something that I want to do is, with the Beyond Bitcoin show, maybe even have another show like Lifestyle of the Bitcoin Independent or something that shows all the places I go to, shows how much I paid for them, that you can travel around to when you're independent because of Bitcoin. So this trip here, it costs about $74 a day to stay at the place that I'm staying at. It's my own place. It's an Airbnb. I have my own electric. Everything is paid for, okay? Everything is paid for. The room, the electric, the Wi-Fi, all that good stuff. And so that averages to be $2,200 a month. Now, okay, you're saying, well, that's a lot in rent, isn't it? With some cities, I mean, it's not that much. If you live in Manhattan, it's quite cheap. And then in Manhattan, that includes nothing. If you live in Los Angeles, that's probably around what you pay for everything. I don't know, I'm just putting it in perspective. I mean, look at these beautiful hills. It's very unique. This is the perfect time of year, again. It has not rained once. What have I been here for 2 weeks now? And great weather. It stays bright. It is totally safe here, totally peaceful here. Again, there's a high cost of living, but it's an experience. You get inspired. Everybody speaks English here if you're concerned about that. If you know Norwegian, that's cool. It costs $341 for me to take a flight from Seattle one way. Now that is as far as you can get in the United States, other than Alaska or Hawaii. So I would assume, if you're coming from New York, it's even cheaper. It was $341 and made one stop in London. What else do we have here? So yeah, I said 7 p.m. this Tuesday. Come on out, all you people here in Bergen. I'll be talking about Bitcoin right across the way there. This is not the best view. Maybe when I get done talking, I'll kind of show some more stuff. I'll pick up the camera. So let's talk about, first of all, if you like me being outside, pound that freaking like button, subscribe to this channel, and yeah, check out the links below. Get your t-shirts, your Trezor, all that good stuff. So what do we have here? Oh yeah, housing. I wanted to talk about housing in the United States. And real estate in the United States. So many of you are like, I should buy a house. This is the American dream, to buy a house. Guys, it is such a pain. We talk about third parties, how Bitcoin avoids third parties. When you're into real estate, when you're trying to sell, so I was recently involved in a real estate transaction, very recently. Hopefully it is totally over with now, okay? There are fourth parties, there are fifth parties, there are third parties, there are lawyers. There are so many little things that have to go right or wrong. Lawsuits can happen at any moment. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's not just you selling your house to someone or you buying your house. They're realtors. Everyone's got to get their piece. Okay, and literally, fourth parties here, not just third parties. We're talking fourth part because the lawyers of the ground rent holder. I mean, you don't, and it depends on what jurisdiction you're in. If you're in Baltimore County and you're dealing with somebody in Montgomery County, or if you're dealing with someone in a different state. Their motorcycle just drove by. So here we go here. So all of you think, hey, it's the American dream to have a house, and I want to put down $20,000 because right now $20,000 is the median down payment for a house in the United States of America. That's about 7.6% down payment. And let's say on average you make a 10% down payment now in the United States. It should be 20%, but whatever. They've lost all standards. You know, banks want a lot of interest from you. So you make your 7.6% or your 10% down payment, you pay $20,000, and then you get involved with taxes and fees, and you cannot avoid these fees. These are government. In order to register your house with the land records, you got to pay the Baltimore City fees, the state of Maryland fees, all these different fees. Okay. Again, if you're probably saying, well, Bitcoin can one day, the United States will have a Bitcoin fee. Well, if you do a forever and ever, if you do a cash transaction on the streets, let's say here in Bergen, I wanted to buy some Bitcoin from someone, and I had $1,000 with me in cash, and I went up to them, I gave them $1,000, they gave me some Bitcoin. The United States government would never find out about it. There would be no fee that the state of Maryland would charge me. Okay, with real estate, you cannot avoid these fees. All right. So what I'm saying is, a lot of you, because you've got wives that are putting pressure on you, that you want status, you want to show that you have this something, this house. So you're going to put down your $20,000. Don't do it. Don't do it. Instead, this is what you do. This is what I advise you do. If you're a young guy, you're 27 years old, you're 29 years old, whatever, you got your $20,000 that you saved up. Right now, get 2 Bitcoin. Get 2 Bitcoin. That's $15,000 right there. Then you have $5,000 left. You can pay for rent, put it toward your rent, or hey, maybe come visit Bergen Norway for $2,300 or whatever it's going to be, or travel, take the wife out on something. First of all, don't even have a wife, don't even have a girlfriend. Okay, that saves you a lot of money right there. Let's say you're a single. So again, you can do a lot with that $20,000, and you'll thank me later with the Bitcoin. You wait, you're patient. You're gonna think long term with those 2 Bitcoin that you're in the elite now. All of a sudden, you've got 2 Bitcoin. Hardly anyone can get 1 Bitcoin. Instead of putting $20,000 down on a house that you're gonna end up having to pay so many fees on and deal with third parties, fourth parties, fifth parties. And it can be a nightmare. I mean, it is not peace of mind. You don't have peace of mind from it. There are maintenance costs with a house, okay? It's no peace of mind at all. Trust me, I have experience in this. And again, I was just involved in a real estate transaction and it was just a one-on-one, it's supposed to be a one-on-one transaction. So many other people fudding it up. Yes, a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt was involved actually in the transaction. And it's because everyone's got to get their piece. The title has to be clear, and there's got to be title insurance, and you got to make sure. We're not even going to get into it. The water bills were all paid, right? And it's ridiculous. So I have said before that Bitcoin is lawsuit proof in the point that Bitcoin itself cannot be sued. There's no if someone stole your Bitcoin, you can't just sue Bitcoin. There is no Bitcoin to sue. But at the same time, if you're involved in Bitcoin, if you've got your assets in Bitcoin, it's unconfiscatable. No one can take that away from you. Let's say if you did buy Bitcoin from someone, and they said, no, that person really didn't, there's no chargebacks. They just can't take that Bitcoin back from you. They can't sue you for that Bitcoin either. I mean, they can try to sue you, but they can never get it back from you, because you could just leave the country, start a new life or something like that, okay? With real estate, that's it. You are tied down, okay? If someone falls on your real estate, if someone in Baltimore City, they decide, they need a few extra bucks, they already got their lead poisoning payoff or whatever. Now it's time to trip on your sidewalk when it snowed or something like that. They sue you. You can't run away from that. They'll take your house as collateral now. Okay, they can take your house if you don't want to pay the ridiculous lawsuit. With Bitcoin, they can't do that to you. It's not something physically tying you down. Pound that like button, people. So a lot of people get caught up in this status thing. They need to point to their assets, especially, again, if they have a wife. The wife's got to say, I've got to look at my fancy house that my husband got me. Or if you're a guy that cares about that kind of thing, like, you could point to that house. That is a weakness. That is a weakness in an asset that you can physically point to it, okay? Because it's a mirage. It's a mirage. Because behind the scenes, there's so many other little things. You don't feel comfortable with buying Bitcoin because you can't point to it. You can't show off your Bitcoin. Don't be like that. You don't need to show off your asset, because with Bitcoin, that's it. There's no maintenance behind it. There's nothing hiding behind that Bitcoin like that's hiding behind real estate, okay? There's a constant threat of lawsuit with real estate. There's a constant, when you're making a real estate transaction, there's a constant threat that it's gonna go sour, that something's gonna be added onto it. With Bitcoin, once it's done, it's done. There's no chargebacks, that's it. No lawsuits, no anything. There's nothing hidden, but you can't see it. That's the only thing that's bad. Is that bad though? No. For some people that's bad that believe in status and these physical, hyper-consumerism type of things. And another thing that I noticed, so I've been out of the country and I've had to deal with real estate transactions. You just can't sell your house in Baltimore when you're out of the country, okay? You just can't. You have to have appoint a proof of power of attorney. You have a power. I mean, with Bitcoin, you can sell your Bitcoin anywhere to anyone. It's that easy. You can transact with Bitcoin. It doesn't matter where you are, okay? You can send that Bitcoin. I could not. I mean, that's how old the real estate system in any country, in the United States at least, you got to be physically there or appoint a power of attorney to sign something for you. I mean, it's ludicrous that it's still, and these are tremendous assets. Real estate is a huge. It's supposedly your biggest purchase in your life. Okay, I've been involved with. I mean, I've owned 3 different real estate. I bought and sold 3 different properties in my life. Okay, and I can tell you this right now, that my most valuable asset is Bitcoin, okay? That's the most valuable asset for you right now, and that is the transition that we're going through right now, that you're gonna have to get used to this type of thing, that, you know, don't live that paradigm anymore where real estate is that important to you. But people are gonna put that peer pressure on you to say that, hey, that's the way of life, you gotta show me your house or whatever. All right, and that's not the way it is, because you don't wanna be involved with fourth parties and ground rent and all this nonsense. And many of you don't even know what ground rent is because you're not from the state of Maryland, and you should thank God you don't know what ground rent is. Completely a nonsense thing from the 1700s, from before then either. Look it up. I think they have it in Hawaii also, I heard. I don't know. So what else do we have here? So when there's let's move on to another topic here. When there's a disaster in the United States, let me ask you, what do you say? Do you say, oh, why didn't the government do this? Or why isn't the government fixing this disaster? What can the government do to change this? Is that what you first think? Because that's not a good mindset to be in, because you're dependent on the government. You've got that mindset where you look at this, they're doing work here on a Saturday night, I guess. They're hard workers here in Norway. But no, you don't want to be in that mindset where you're always thinking, like, what could they... No. And again, you probably couldn't have prevented a disaster from happening. But you can't, because if you're in the mindset of, like, always deferring to the government, that's going to be how things are throughout your life. And you're not going to be able to take personal responsibility for everything that you should be taking personal responsibility for, which is everything that you control. Be it your house, and again, so if you're involved in the real estate game, if you're involved in a property, and then some dude slips on the ice and sues you, you can say, oh, it's the government's fault for having these laws for... No, it's you knew you were getting into this real estate thing. You didn't have to put the $20,000 down to buy a house. You could have bought the Bitcoin when I told you to buy the Bitcoin. So think about it. There's personal responsibility right there. And it's interesting that disaster mentality thing. Think about that the next time there's a disaster or a school shooting or whatever. Are you automatically saying, well, what can the government do? No, don't say that. Don't say that. Especially because you should be in the solution. Like, well, what business could I create to help alleviate these problems? So we talked about the mirage of a physical asset. The mirage of like that it's just this physical asset. There's so much more behind it. It's a disgrace how much more is behind a house that you have to deal with. With a Bitcoin, it's just your Bitcoin that you can't see. Okay, I talked about behind the scenes. Hey, I think I covered everything here. All right, so I'm ALBERTA, the BitcoinMeister, the DisruptMeister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the link section below. So, yeah, maybe we'll do some more, you know, depending where I'm going. I'll be in Oslo on the 8th, then I'll be in Florida. So pound that like button if you like this Beyond the Bitcoin type of deal we show. I'll talk to you guys later.